Halloween is a holiday that's pretty much made for me. All the candy, the sugar, the chocolate, the works, and I love it. And this Halloween, I'm going a little crazy with some face painting and a devilish mix of Halloween treats. Starting with my Halloween spice cake, a spicy mix of cinnamon, ginger, and nutmeg, along with my chocolate dipped nougat with dried apricots, a little orange color for Halloween, plus some chewy chocolate. And finally, Halloween popcorn treats, a gooey, sticky mixture of candy, chocolate, popcorn, and a million other decadent surprises. And did I mention the face painting? Give me a little chocolate and I can be talked into anything.
Julian, you are a true artist, my friend.
Oh, okay.
I'm good. How are you? Here she is.
Hi, Jade. Happy Halloween. Oh, you're so happy.
You got a big smile from her.
Do we have a costume?
Who's
Well, she's
here?
not going to be trick-or-treating this year because that's during her nap time. But next year.
Do we have?
So I'm looking for some candy for the trick-or-treaters.
Yes.
But then I'm also looking for some candy for a recipe that I'm going to make.
Oh, goody. Great.
Okay.
What do we need, my dear?
We need some candy corn, some gummy bears, and some peaches. These are going to go perfect. These little popcorn treats.
Ooh.
And I'll put a bunch of candy on it. So I thought, what kid doesn't like chocolate candies, right? Thanks for everything, Joan.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Angel.
Bye-bye.
Jane.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
So I've got the candy covered for the kids. So now it's time to make a cake for the adults. So I want to start with the dry ingredients first. And I need 1.5 cups of flour. And I have to say, I love Halloween. It's the one time of year where I feel like I can eat as much candy and as much sugar as I want. In fact, growing up, my parents, it was the only day in the whole year where my parents didn't tell me I couldn't have any more sugar. I think they figured if I ate all of that sugar, that maybe I wouldn't want it the rest of the year because I'd get myself sick off of it. Not so much. I love sugar and I love candy. So 1.5 cups of flour. And then I'm gonna add some baking powder. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And we're gonna get some spices. Now, the spice is what makes this cake. Obviously, it's a spiced cake. So we need some cinnamon, some ginger, nutmeg, and some allspice. Use all 4 of those. We need them all. And first, I want to add a little bit of salt. And the salt just brings out the flavor and everything else. We need 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. And the cinnamon is very warm. And it's not like, when I say a spice cake, I don't mean like spicy, like a hot cake, but more like a warmth. It's starting to like kick into that holiday spirit. I just feel like cinnamon is a big part of that. So is the ginger. So we're gonna need 2 teaspoons of ginger. And the dried ginger isn't quite as spicy as fresh ginger, so it'll be warm, but not quite as much of a bite as you would with fresh ginger. There we go. And we've got some nutmeg. So we need 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, nice and warm, and 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. We're done with the spice part, so now I need a little chocolate for me and the kids. So we'll grab some cocoa powder and some applesauce for later. So we'll add 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder. So just add that right in there. Gives it a nice, rich, dark color, too. Yummy, yummy, yummy. So do that, and I just want to mix everything together. Perfect. So now we swap, and we're going to start on the wet ingredients. So 2 eggs. It's really important that you bring the eggs and leave them to get to room temperature, because basically what you want is all the ingredients at the same temperature so nothing seizes up when you add it into the next thing. So 1 cup of regular sugar. Sweeten it up. and a 1/4 cup of light brown sugar. And the brown sugar has molasses in it, so it makes it really yummy and kind of sweet, but a really nice sweet, like warmth sweet. And I need my applesauce. So we're gonna use 1/3 cup of applesauce. And the applesauce keeps the cake really moist. It's sort of a trick. And it's nice and tangy, so it adds flavor, but really keeps the cake nice and moist. So remember that. And before I add the vegetable oil, can't forget vanilla extract. So we're just gonna use 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract right in there. It's such a nice floral flavor. It's really yummy. And the last thing, the vegetable oil. I need 2/3 cup of vegetable oil. You need to have the vegetable oil in conjunction with the applesauce. It keeps it nice and moist. There we go. And now let's mix it all together. And once you get through all of the measurements, you're golden, because it's just about adding the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and getting it in the oven. And let's start adding the dry ingredients. And you want to add half at a time so the eggs and all the wet ingredients have time to absorb the flour and they don't have to do it all at once. Because if you add all the dry ingredients in at once, it kind of seizes up the cake and you don't get that nice moist texture that you want when the cake is baked. And that's it. So now I'm gonna grab my pan here, our loaf pan, and I'm just gonna pour it all in there. And I'm gonna need a little help. And I've already buttered and floured the loaf pan. So just pour the batter and see how nice and smooth it is and it glistens. That's what you want. It's that cinnamon, the ginger, all the spices that really make it smell really, really, really good. And just kind of even it all out. And we're gonna put it in the oven, 350 for 40 minutes. And while that bakes, I'm gonna get started on my nougat. All right, so nougat is like a chewy candy. It's super, super delicious. And it's basically, you gotta start with a caramel. Who doesn't like that? Which means 2 cups of sugar. It's gonna be really sweet, you'll see. Probably that's why I love it so much. And we're gonna do some honey. And the honey thickens the caramel. It also helps get it that nice amber color. Now this I can just eyeball. 1/4 cup of honey. And it gives it a little bit of like that floral flavor. And then 1/4 cup of water. You can see it's very little water. It's mostly sugar. There we go. And then we just turn on the heat and I bring it to a simmer. And then I like to add a little candy thermometer because it's got to come up to 315 degrees in order to be the right consistency. I put that in there and we'll let that simmer until it becomes a nice amber color.
And up next, an irresistible nougat, chewy, delicious, and dipped in chocolate.